Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day! And I would wear a hat if I could find it, but I'm stuck with these today. So, we are going to have a St. Patrick's Day class. Now, I already posted a video earlier from a Stretch and Grow affiliate in Ireland, and she did a leprechaun story. If you found that earlier, hopefully you were able to view that and do that with your kids. As part of Stretch and Grow, we do stories and themed activities. And today is kind of a dual class, or this week actually is a dual class of St. Patrick's Day and leaping and hopping. And then we're going to be doing some what's called steering. And then we're going to talk about eating a rainbow. So appropriate for St. Patrick's Day. So this is what we're going to do. I already talked about the leprechaun story. It kind of goes with how we start Stretch and Grow. If you missed other videos, you haven't seen the Stretch and Grow stretch, I'm going to do those with you. If you don't know who I am, my name is Coach Good, and I have Stretch and Grow in upstate South Carolina, Stretch and Grow of Greenville, and we like to do themed classes with our preschool kids. I do a different program with elementary, but this is for preschoolers today. So with that, we will do the Stretch and Grow stretch, our stars shine bright, and then we'll get into the activities for today. So here we go. We stretch, stretch, and grow. It's good for us, we know. We exercise, eat healthy and wise. We stretch, stretch, and grow. And we talk about the 5 things that kids learn. This week we are focusing on eating a rainbow, and we'll talk about that briefly. So reach your arms up high, wiggle those fingers. Stars shine bright because they eat right, are neat and clean. That's good hygiene. You get their rest to be their best and have an attitude that's oh so good. And we exercise with all our might. All right. Now, assuming you've watched the video and you've done the leprechaun story, we're going to get into the other activities. And usually we do an accumulation of activities. We have been hopping, we've done rabbit tails, and we'll add those activities in for the whole class. So we start with our story, our activity, we'll do exercises. And today, a couple of the activities we've been doing, and we focus a lot on gross motor skills. Hopping is a great way for gross motor skills. Now, if you have dots or if chalk or something for the kids to hop on, you can put these down. And the great thing about dots is you can change how you want your kids to hop. And what I do with the preschoolers, because they haven't really learned hopscotch, is we do feet together, feet apart. And so I've got a basic pattern here. Feet together with 1 dot, feet apart with 2 dots. So it looks like this. Very easy. If the kids are a little bit older and they've had experience with hopscotch, they can do 1 foot, 2 feet, switch. And like I said, you can change the way your pattern is. So we have 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So we can change that to 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. A variety of different, there's no wrong way to do it. You can do a variety. Feet together, apart, apart, together, together. Changing the activities up. So that's with your dots, practicing our hopping skills. You can also, I didn't bring it in here, but I have an agility ladder. We call these the railroad tracks. So we'll stretch those out. A A lot of times for the preschoolers, just running down the railroad tracks without touching the yellow or the black is hard for them. And we try to get them to run on their tippy toes going down the tracks. But in light of hopping, this is a great way. They can hop down the railroad tracks, or they can do hopscotch down the railroad tracks like this. Feet together, apart, together, apart, together, apart, all the way down the tracks. Very easy. If your children are older and they've done any kind of sports, agility ladders, there's really a lot of skills. I've got a whole book of agility ladder skills that you can do with this, other than the basics of just hopping or running down the tracks. All right, so hopping is one of those skills that we can work on, or we have been working on. Leaping is another one, and I did not bring my ropes in here, so we're going to improvise. And you probably might not have ropes laying around, so you just need a couple of lines. And I'm going to use one of my exercise bands. Keeping in our theme with St. Patrick's Day and leaping, one of the things with leaping, and I touched on this in another video, but leaping is a gross motor skill. So we want them to run and leap to the other foot. Now in this particular game that I play, it's called Jump the Creek. In reality, it's leaping the creek, because as the creek gets further apart, the best way to get across is by leaping. So they're running and leaping the creek. But as it gets too far for the kids to jump, you can add a stepping stone. So they're running, and then they can touch the stepping stone and get across. A great way, because they're leaping, they're actually doing 2 leaps instead of 1 long leap. But it teaches them how to go off 1 foot and onto the other foot. All right, now, our activity for today, in accumulation of everything we've done, we've had hopping, leaping, we did rabbit tails, which is a great tag game. The game we're going to do today is called steering. Basically, we're learning to move in space. And if you have other children, they're not just moving in space by themselves. They're moving in space without running into anyone else. Now, I'm actually adding cones because I want to be able to move in space without knocking a cone down. Now I'm just walking. If you have a larger space, you can have them march, gallop, skip, run. So that's just moving in space, learning spatial awareness with the cones. When you have other kids involved, it gets a little bit more difficult because you're not just avoiding the other kids, they're trying to avoid you, so you're moving around. Now with the steering, you can use a ball, and you're holding the ball in your hands, or you're going to put it on the ground, and it's kind of a precursor to we're going to be rolling the ball eventually. But if they're holding the ball, they're kind of steering their bodies around the cones. Again, all those gross motor skills I just showed you, walking, marching, running, galloping, skipping, you get a little bit incrementally faster, and they're steering their ball while watching out for other people. This is also kind of an object manipulation once you put it on the ground, because then you're steering your ball and manipulating it around objects. Now, if you had a larger space, this would be much better, and you can go a little bit faster. And if you have other children, they're not just watching out for themselves in the cones, they're also watching out for other people. So this is what I call steering, where we're taking a ball and moving in space. And I have cones. If you don't have cones, rocks, soup cans, empty containers, something that they can move around. So it doesn't have to be cones. It doesn't have to be a basketball. You could do a soccer ball. Something obviously round, playground ball, something that bounces, beach ball, as those are kind of light, but steering. All right, so with our class, you've warmed up with the leprechaun story. We have done hopping. You can do the rabbit tails tag, leap the creek, and then steering. And now what we're going to do is finish with a discussion. And this past month is nutrition. Now, we actually had a break. We talked about the 5 food groups: grains, fruit, vegetables, meat and protein, and dairy. We talked about those 3 weeks ago. Then last week we went over them again. And then this week are the five colors that you should be eating. And actually it's just 5 colors a day. And we call that eating a rainbow. So it doesn't matter the colors, it matters that you're getting 5 colors a day. It also doesn't matter whether they're fruits or vegetables. If your children are taking vitamins, that's great, but the best way to get their vitamins are through the 5 colors. The more colors they eat, the more vitamins that they're getting. Ideally, you want them to eat more vegetables than fruits because fruits are higher than sugar, but you want to get them to eat something, and it's usually easier to get them to eat the fruits. So you've got, now a lot of kids get confused of the color of the fruit or vegetable versus the color on the inside. Like the pineapple is only yellow on the inside, but you've got yellow, purple, red, red and blue. And even though this is yellow, the inside is white, and we'll talk about that on what color this actually is. We don't eat the yellow, we eat the white part. And then you've got grapes. Grapes come in a variety of colors. Watermelon, oranges, both inside and out, pears. So you've got a lot of variety of color in the fruits. And then have it categorized wrong. Cherries, one of my favorite, cherries. Red, lots of red. All right, so we've got vegetables now. A lot of colors with vegetables. You've got lettuce, peppers, which technically are really a fruit, but that's a discussion for another time. Peas, potatoes, corn, another one of those controversial fruit versus vegetable, not fruit, grain versus a vegetable. Broccoli, celery, green beans, mushrooms, carrots, asparagus. So you've got a lot of colors. And you need to, because there's so many colors, find something that your child likes to eat and let them keep eating that. It can take up to 20 or more trials of eating a food before their palate becomes accustomed to it and they actually like it. It's one of those things, some is texture, some of it is taste, but it might take a while before they like it. But you got to get them to eat 5 colors a day. 5 colors a day. All right, so I hope you have done the story from an earlier post. And this will actually be on YouTube. So my leprechaun post is on Facebook. And Tim Good, look me up, become my friend, and you can find that post from an earlier date. Today is the 17th, and I would love for you to do the leprechaun story from one of my posts, and then try these activities: hopping, leaping, tag games with the rabbit tails, steering, moving in space, steering the ball, either holding it or rolling it on the ground. And then nutrition is vitally important for your children. It's great if they take a vitamin, but they need to eat their fruits and vegetables. So there you have it. Have a great St. Patrick's Day or week, and I will see you next time. Oh, and if you like this, give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Impact Our Youth, impactyouthfitness.com for Stretch and Grow, and Impact Training Academy. Send me a message, tell me what you think, give me ideas of things that you might be doing with your kids. I want to know. Let me know, subscribe, and I look forward to hearing from you.